himself, it looks like.
Show some respect on the deputy mayor.
I should. I might try that actually. I'm going to take the pen back.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this ordinary meeting of the Douglas Shire Council being held today, Tuesday the 28th of October at the Mosman Council Chambers. This council meeting is being live streamed and will also be available for others to watch at a later time. I would like to welcome the Yalangji people who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians who may be listening or watching this meeting today. Our CEO is in attendance along with staff who are involved in today's meeting. Also, I'd like to welcome members of the community and a representative of the media gallery in media presented in the gallery today. Okay, let's start. Number 2, conflict of interest. Do any councillors have a conflict of interest or material personal interest they need to declare?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Will I read it? Yep.
Read it.
Okay, so I, Councillor Abigail Nolly, declare that I have a declarable conflict of interest in relation to the Whale Heritage Letter being considered at this meeting, agenda 7.7. The nature of my conflict arises from my membership in the local Marine Advisory Committee, which is associated with marine conservation and advocacy relevant to the subject matter of the letter. Although I'm not receiving any personal benefit and do not believe my impartiality is compromised, I acknowledge that my involvement at ALMAC may be perceived as influencing my views or decisions on this matter. So in accordance with the Local Government Act 2009, I respectfully request that the other councillors consider my declaration and determine whether I may remain in the meeting and participate in the discussion and decision-making process.
Thank you, Councillor Nolly. So we'll put it to the vote. If we'd like Councillor Nolly to stay in the meeting or we'd prefer her to leave. So all in favour if you'd like to stay in the meeting. That's a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, number 3, we don't have any deputations, no 0 minutes. Confirmation of the ordinary meeting held the 30th September 2025. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Meadows, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Rees, thank you. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, officers report number 7. 7.1, the Mayor's Diary for September 2025. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Meadows, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Meadows, would you like to speak?
Just another busy month for the mayor. Well done.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against? Okay, any further comments? No, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. 7.2, Chief Executive Officer's Diary for September 2025, and that council notes the Chief Executive Officer's external calendar appointments for the month of September 2025. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Reeves, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Nolly, thank you. Councillor Reeves, would you like to speak?
Another busy month for the CEO, it seems.
I would like to speak again. Okay, any further comments? Okay, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. 7.3, 2025 September financial reports. Recommendation is that council notes the statement of comprehensive income, statement of financial position and statement of cash flows for September 2025. Can I please have a mover? Thank you. Councillor Nolly, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Zamataro, thank you. Councillor Nolly, would you like to speak?
So these are our monthly financial reports. Everything is tracking fine. There's no reason for concern. So I'm happy to support this recommendation.
Anyone would like to speak against? No? Any further questions? And I'm sorry, any Further input?
I was going to say that I'm very happy being part of the audit committee. I keep my eye on the financials and we're doing very well, thanks to our CFO, who came to us from the QTC, no less.
Thank you. Any further comments? No? Okay, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. 7.4, transfer of trustee lease and road use agreement from Indigenous Land and Sea Corporation to Voyages Indigenous Tourism Australia. The recommendation is that Council 1 consents to the transfer of a trustee lease described as lease B over part of lot 94 SR 257, registered under dealing number 723801509 from the Indigenous Land and Sea Corporation to Voyages Indigenous Tourism Australia Proprietary Limited, with legal costs and other expenses incurred by council for the preparation of suitable legal instruments to effect the transfer process, including lodgement with titles as Queensland to be borne by the transferor. 2, terminates the road use agreement dated 20th February 2012 made between Cairns Regional Council and the Indigenous Land and Sea Corporation. And 3, enters into a road use agreement with Voyages Indigenous Tourism Australia Proprietary Limited. A, that authorises the use of the defined section of Mossman Gorge Road for the purpose of restricting vehicle traffic of a particular class to the Mossman Gorge by means of a boom gate. And B, that defines the terms and conditions of the road use, including provisions of shuttle bus service and the asset maintenance obligation of both parties. And C, for a term identical to and concurrent with that of the with the trustee lease expiring on 30th of November 2033, and D, with legal costs and other expenses incurred by council for the preparation of the agreement to be borne by Voyages Indigenous Tourism Australia Proprietary Limited. Can I please have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Meadows. And a seconder? Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Meadows, would you like to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor, it's just a bit of housekeeping. In reality, it's a change of operations up there, so we're handing over the road over to them to maintain and look after.
Thank you. Anyone would like to speak against? No? Anyone would like questions or would like to speak for it?
Thank you. I'd just like to add, in addition to what Councillor Meadows said, the road section remains under council, but the maintenance responsibility is clearly defined, and Voyages will bear costs for the maintenance beyond council's standard schedule. That's really, and also this promotes public safety and environmental.
I've just got one question, thank you, and that is, can you please explain what the asset maintenance obligations are?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So the asset maintenance obligations is that council retains responsibility for repair and maintenance of the road because it is our road. However, staff have recommended that a revised clause in the road use agreement for clarity be done, that council will make repairs and provide maintenance in accordance with our maintenance schedule and the timing contained therein. And ultimately, that Voyages is solely responsible for all costs associated with the maintenance and repair of the boom gate.
Further comments? If not, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. 7.5, sustainable tourism funding. Recommendation is that council endorses the continued development of a sustainable tourism funding model for the Douglas Shire, including where possible participation in local government sector advocacy groups and associated initiatives. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Nolly, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Meadows, thank you. Councillor Nolly, would you like to speak?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Just take a few minutes if you don't mind. So this is a proposal for council to endorse the development and advocacy of a sustainable tourism funding model. Now, people will ask, why is it necessary? Well, obviously, Douglas Shire is the most tourism reliant destination in Australia, probably, with 85% of the local economy is tied to tourism. So a sustainable tourism funding is essential for maintaining the region's economic, environmental, social and cultural well-being. With 700,000 plus visitors that came to Douglas Shire up until March this year, they do not directly contribute to the infrastructure maintenance or regional investment. So the financial burden falls heavily on our limited number of ratepayers. So the implications are that without any sustainable funding, tourism infrastructure may decline and the economic instability may follow. So there are different kinds of models that we could look at, and they enable long-term planning and resilience. They help manage environmental pressures from tourism. They will continue with jobs. They will stop economic decline or community fragmentation. So if we don't go ahead with some kind of sustainable tourism funding, there are diverse risks. You have economic risks, loss of tourism, for example. You have environmental risks, loss of natural assets, for example. Social risks, loss of jobs, and obviously governance risks, which is create a financial burden on council. So for all these reasons, I support this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. Anyone who would like to speak against? No, any further comments?
I do, Madam Mayor. Yeah, tourism is a huge part of our Shire. It's really important that we maintain it. The figures are quite extraordinary, actually, because we have a population of around 13,000. The census had it about 12.5 in 21. So around 13,000, but then we have over 300,000 people come and use all our infrastructure and assets. So, and we've got to think on all levels, so water, waste, all of that kind of stuff. So we've got to account for that. And what this motion is about is just looking at other ways to make tourism funding more sustainable.
I want to reaffirm my full support for this project. I've already begun advocating strongly with both state government and the opposition, but unfortunately, it appears this will be a long road ahead for councils that would like to opt in into this. At this stage, there has been no commitment to support the project, despite the fact that it would significantly reduce the financial burden on our ratepayers. In our Shire, at the end of March this year, we welcomed over 700,000 visitors, including 75 international overnight visitors, 324,000 domestic overnight visitors, and 297,000 day visitors. These numbers clearly show that we are a thriving tourism industry in a region of just over 13,000 residents. We truly punch above our weight in delivering high quality services and experiences to our visitors. However, the time has come to recognise that our ratepayers cannot continue to shoulder this cost from the existing rate base. The solution is not putting up rates and charges to accommodate visitors to our Shire. Sustainable funding solutions are essential if we are to continue supporting both our community and our vital tourism industry, such as waste, roads, water and tourism infrastructure, which will benefit not only the visitors but also our ratepayers. No, this will not be the end of our tourism, as many destinations across the globe have introduced tourism levies or visitor taxes to help fund the infrastructure and services that support their visitors' economies. These charges ensure that those enjoy the destination also contribute to its upkeep, reducing the burden on local ratepayers. Some of the, like a lot of Australians and people in our Shire go to Bali. There's a $15 tourism tax in Bali. Kenya, there's a 2% tourism levy. Italy, there's up to 1 to 10% euro a night. And the purpose of these tourist levies for countries around the globe are to generate dedicated revenue for local governments to invest in infrastructure and public services, address an impact of over-tourism on communities, and support environmental sustainability and preservation of cultural heritage. Relieve ratepayers from the growing cost of maintaining tourism infrastructure. So I strongly support this, and I will keep advocating for this levy to be introduced into our Shire, and I'll work tirelessly with other councils such as Cairns and Noosa to be able to bring this in mainly for our community. And so this will be a project I believe that we need to get our community on board as well, so we can all work together to introduce and make, I believe, our Shire a better tourist attraction with a lot of things that we can provide in the future. So thank you. Okay, we've got no more further comments. We'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. (7.6) Business Resilience Partnership Program. The recommendation is that Council approves Business Resilience Initiative for supporting local businesses across the Douglas Shire under the Business Resilience Partnership Program and funded by Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements. Can I please have a mover? Thank you. Councillor Meadows, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Reeves, thank you. Councillor Meadows, would you like to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is a program that's obviously in conjunction with, by council in conjunction with, local businesses. We found that through Jasper, there was quite significant impact across the whole Shire, with our local businesses. There was from the disaster itself and the flow-on effects. I think it's imperative that we build a strong, resilient business, model within the Shire to make sure that in the event of future events, hopefully not, our businesses are best placed to respond and they have that resilience to carry on.
I do, Madam Mayor. I've been in business 20 years and I've had to hand it over, and I could have really done with a course like this actually. So there's $45,000 over dedicated to this. It's over 12 months. It's going to be delivered in person and online. It's very, very accessible. I really could have done with this when I was growing my business. So, and I'm working from my phone today. I'm not checking Facebook, just letting you know.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just in addition, I think it's important to point out that the outcomes that really are expected from this program, and it's stronger disaster resilience and recovery capability for our businesses, improved mental well-being for business owners and their staff, practical community continuities plans to safeguard operations, enhanced collaboration through networking and shared learning, and it's all tailored support reflecting the unique needs of Douglas Shire businesses at no cost to council. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic program, and we're at the moment in the Shire going through a very difficult transition period. So it will also help not only from the flooding, but our farmers as well with the mental resilience. So great program. Okay, no further comments. We'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. 7.7 Wild Heritage Area Letter of Support. The recommendation that council issues a letter of support to the Douglas Local Marine Advisory Committee to assist their application to the World I can't even get that out. Destination Alliance for the destination of Port Douglas and the Ribbon Reef as a Wild Heritage Area. Oh, now please have terrible throat tonight. So
Have some water.
yes, I am. Councillor Meadows, thank you. Councillor Rees, would you like to speak to?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just another little feather to our bow.
Okay, anyone? No? Any further comments? Yes, Councillor Noel.
I would like to speak to it. As I mentioned earlier, I am a member of the local Douglas Marine Advisory Committee. So I'd just like to talk to what it is all about. So the Whale Heritage Area, not world, whale, recognises regions that foster positive relationships between whales and people. So it promotes stewardship and responsible tourism. So it's a non-legally binding, it doesn't impose any statutory obligations on council, but it can promote, there are benefits to this agreement should go ahead. It's obviously there's economic potential to boost tourism. It may enhance conservation efforts and responsible whale watching tourism, obviously. There's no budgetary impositions at the moment for council, so I absolutely support this recommendation.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I think this is a great idea. We've seen the success of wild preservation, up and down the east coast of Australia and internationally, and it's there's certainly an animal that they're amazing to actually watch in the wild. And if it does, as Councillor Nolly suggested, if it does increase our presence out in the reef, if it's done correctly, there's no impact on the animals themselves. So I think it's a great idea.
Any further comments? Okay, I'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. 7.8 minor change to operational works and material change of use 14 Murphy Street driveway alignment. Okay, the recommendation, I'll take the councillors have read that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we'll put it, please have a mover. Councillor Nolby, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Nolby, would you like to speak?
I'll reserve my right to speak. Thank you.
Okay, anyone would like to speak against? Recommendation? Okay,
Oh, is it my moment? I'm just trying to get the machinations. Madam Mayor, thank you. I'd like to propose an alternate motion for this item. It's in 2 points that council resolves to approve the request for minor change to development approval. MCUC 4732-2022, subject to appropriate conditions as determined by the Chief Executive Officer. And 2, that council resolves to approve the request for minor change to development approval OP 56001-2024, subject to appropriate conditions as determined by the Chief Executive Officer.
so first of all, vote against the recommendation. That's on the,
Need a seconder of the motion.
okay, we need a second of the motion. Councillor Zamatara, oh, sorry, Meadows, thank you.
You can
Damien, yes,
You can do
okay,
up to debate.
okay.
So councillor Rees can put a reason to why he supports his motion.
Speak to the motion.
I do have help with this. He drove past the location today, actually, and I was happy to read in the officer's report that the applicant did resolve the angle of the driveway, if I understand that correctly. So that was a big deal for me, the safety issue. The next came to the aesthetic issue, if you like, and I think that there's more opportunity there to resolve that, hence my motion. That's me done.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. So anyone would like to speak against the motion?
So yeah, I'll be
Councillor
speaking
Nolby,
against.
thank you. The new
Amendment.
motion?
Yeah, new mo- And essentially I'll be speaking for the original motion at the same time. So the original motion is a request to retain a secondary driveway. It's originally a temporary construction, and they want to retain it as a primary driveway. The council's recommendation was to refuse both change applications based on non-compliance with planning codes and environmental concerns. Refusals such as this are not unusual for councils, especially when proposals conflict with established planning schemes, environmental protections, community expectations. And that is the case here. So the issues identified by staff, by council officers, were it's in conflict with the local planning codes. It fails to meet the environmental management zone code. There are environmental concerns, and that is that the driveway disrupts a designated revegetation buffer. And I believe that whatever conditions are proposed, even with additional conditions, you will never really counteract these disruptions. It's as simple as that. It's got non-compliance with Hill Slopes Overlay Code. The proposal involves unnecessary vegetation clearing. It negatively impacts the scenic and ecological value of the hill slope. Although the driveway gradient was remedied to a certain extent, the gradient still exceeds F&Q rock guidelines. The proposal fails to meet performance outcomes and the overall outcome of the Environmental Management Zone Code, the Port Douglas and Craiglee Local Plan Code, and the Hill Slopes Overlay Code. So for these reasons, I'll be voting against the proposed amendment, and I will be supporting the original recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Noel. Anyone else would like to speak? Motion.
Am I going to say something else, or am I done?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I think that with the appropriate decisions or determinations made by the Chief Executive Officer in relation to this second, this amendment, this recommendation, the amendment to the recommendation, I think that a lot of what is the key issues can be remedied. I believe the use of natural materials for retaining walls and guardrails, et cetera, will go a long way to improve the visual aspect of the driveway. I too have been up there a number of times to have a look at the property to ensure that it has a minimal impact on the local environment. And I think that the applicant themselves would be perhaps amenable to increasing not only the vegetation around the proposed driveway itself, but also within the confines of the property that may well go a long way to reduce the visual impact of the whole development.
I'll just speak to the motion.
No, okay. So, okay, can I say something to it? Oh, yes, okay.
No.
This is one of these planning that look, I found this quite difficult to, we're talking about a driveway. It come to council last time and it was outside of the Australian standard. So they've gone back, they've fixed what they had to fix, and now it's compliant with Australian standard. Now, the code PA 64 requires that all development Flagstaff Hill is designed to minimise the visual development and to ensure development is subservient to the natural landscape and topography of the site. We have 2 new houses that have been built up there, and in my opinion, no matter how much vegetation you plant around those houses or in the front, you're never going to not see them. You can be out on a boat in the ocean and you will always see those 2 houses. The driveway, I think with the new motion, that the chief executive will have strict conditions on this new driveway, and that's to do with landscaping and whatever else has to happen. So I believe that if this, I will support this new driveway because it has now approved by Australian standards, but we will leave it up to the Chief Executive Officer to ensure that the strict revegetation and everything that happens with that driveway is put into place. And in that circumstances, that's why I'll support this new motion. So I think the damage has already been done with the visibility of the 2 houses, and unfortunately with Flagstaff Hill there, all that development that's happened on that hill, you can't hide it, and we're still building on those hills and you're still never going to hide it. So I just think this is a driveway that's if it meets what the council requires it to meet with the landscape and all that, I think we will be able to get around this one. So that's my it's a driveway, so we'll put no more comment, we'll put it to that vote. Okay.
Councillor, we're voting on whether this motion now becomes the standing motion.
The
amended motion. We're voting for the amended motion to become the standing motion.
Vote on.
If it is accepted, then you will vote again to whether the motion passes. If it is not accepted, the original officer's recommendation will be the motion going forward.
So we'll put it to the vote. All in favour of the new motion? Councillor Meadows, Councillor Rees and Councillor Sponson. And against? Councillor Zamatara and Councillor Noel. Thank you very much.
So now the alternate motion is now the current motion, and you vote again on whether that motion will be accepted.
Okay,
Whether
so
it passes.
I'll vote for the new motion.
Speak again.
So you can speak again to the new motion.
Yeah,
So
you can speak against the motion again, or for it, or and against it.
can I have a mover for the new motion? Thank you. Councillor Meadows, thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Meadows, would you like to speak to the new motion? Thank you.
No, Madam Mayor, I think I made my thoughts.
Anyone like to speak against the new motion? Councillor Nolly, thank you.
I'm happy to get a second answer. I just want to point out that there isn't not a driveway. There is a driveway. And, you know, this, I just feel that this perhaps was a sneaky way of getting around something that was probably in the intention at the beginning. I'm a little concerned about this.
Any further comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Do you want to say that there was an existing access route where the driveway is, from my understanding, was that accessible by Ergon? I think there were 5 trees removed. So I might have thought about it differently if it was dense vegetation that they would cut down, but it's actually already been used, this driveway that we're talking about. It's already been used for construction. So this is not, we're not approving the levelling of vegetation. It's already been done. So this is more about retaining it and using it ongoing. I think that's a really important distinction there. And I think I trust that the CEO will hold the applicant's feet to the fire and make sure that he or she complies.
Any further comments? Yes, councillor Sartori.
Look, the reason I support the original motion is because it's in conflict with the town plan, and we make our decisions on what's in conflict with the town plan. And I think it's in conflict with the town plan. I don't think we can make the decision, and I need to know that before we can decide on this, should the alterations have to be put into the resolution before we can amend it? Before we can decide on it?
The conditions,
Yeah.
no. So the conditions will be put as part of if the motion passes and the driveway is approved, then the conditions will be put as part of that decision notice that then be passed on to the applicant, but also made public as part of that process.
Okay, if there's no further comments, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Councillor Rees, Councillor Meadows, Councillor Scomazon, and against Councillor Nolly and Councillor Zamataro. Thank you. (7.9) Approved inspection program selected compliance with regulated dog registration. Recommendation is that council revise approve a selective inspection program of regulated dogs in the Douglas Shire local government area as per section 113 of the Animal Management Cats and Dogs Act 2008. The program is to commence on the 1st of December 2025 and concludes the 31st of May 2026. Can I please have a mover? Thank you. Councillor Meadows, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Nolly, thank you. Councillor Meadows, would you like to speak to it? Thank you.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is just basically ensuring that those animals within the Shire that fit into the category of being dangerous, there's some great level of control over those animals, so which I totally support.
Anyone would like to speak against? Any further comments? In favour? Unanimous, thank you. 7.10, amendment declaration of sewer and water service areas within Douglas Shire, October the 25th. Over 2025. The recommendation is that Council 1 resolves that Douglas Shire Council is a service provider for the provision of reticulated water and sewage services within Douglas Shire, and 2 resolves to declare the revised maps attached indicate the service area within the coloured boundary, relevant area for reticulated water and sewage within Douglas Shire. And 3 delegates authority to the Chief Executive Officer under Section 257 of the Local Government Act 2009 to administer all matters in relation to the above. Can I please have a mover, please? Councillor Nolly, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Nolly, would you like to speak?
So all this is about is that it's confirming, that Douglas Shire Council is a service provider for reticulated water and sewage services. Initial declaration made in February 2020, they were then updated in February 2022, and this latest review adds a few land parcels that weren't in the initial declaration. So that's all this is doing.
Anyone who would like to speak against? Any further comments? Okay, we'll put it to the vote then. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. 711, Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program Tranche 4 submission. Forest Creek Culvert upgrade. Recommendations that council retrospectively endorses the Forest Creek Culvert project funding application submitted to Australian Government Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development, Communication, Sports and the Arts for funding under the Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program Tranche number 4. Can you please have a mover? Thank you. Councillor Rees, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Meadows, thank you. Councillor Rees, would you like to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. This is my old street, so I'm very sentimental. Don't live there now, no conflicts of interest. But I was surprised to find out that Forest Creek Road is actually one of our highest maintenance roads. It costs quite a lot of money. And I also will say that many years ago when I lived there for 12 years, every time I rang council and wanted something fixed, if there was a tree fallen down or something, they would literally be there in 30 minutes. So I'm sure that they're still getting the same service there. This is an application for funding. So we've had a really good run with funding at this council. So fingers crossed we'll get this sorted.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to speak against? No? Any further comments? Thanks.
Question for Mr. Ling, please. I noticed that in the summary, there was an inspection in 2023 that the culvert would be in poor condition due to severe corrosion. Should that not have been acted on in 2023 is one of the question I'm asking.
Through the chair, obviously there's a process to go through to try to find and secure funding. So what was put in place at that time was a temporary bypass that allowed for most vehicles to go around that, whilst Cyclone Jasper funding was pursued for a number of culverts and other issues around that range. So it's turned out that we weren't able to secure funding through that avenue, which has meant we've now sought alternate funding strategies, which this is one of them. We have applied for this previously and one was unsuccessful, but some changes have been made, which has resulted in this reapplication to give us a better chance of securing the funding.
So you're saying because of Cyclone Jasper, the funding?
There are a number of options for trying to secure funding for this, and it wasn't eligible under Cyclone Jasper funding. So we've had to pursue other avenues to try and get that.
Further comments? We'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. 7.12, School Transport Infrastructure Program, tranche number 9 and future submissions. I'll just take it, councillors have read that. Thank you. Sorry, but my throat is starting to die. And can I please have a mover? Councillor Salvatore, thank you. And Councillor Meadows, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Salvatore, would you like to speak?
I'd like to speak. I think it's important that we chase this funding for these applications, for this funding application to enhance the school pathways, because we've got to remember there's kids as young as 6 and 7 using these pathways. So that's why I think it's important that we chase this up.
Speak against? No. Any further comments? I think this funding is very important, especially to help council to be able to deliver some of these projects. I'm happy that number 2 on here is for Snapper Island Drive for that for a crossing there. That's very important and that's very long overdue for that. So it's really good that that's on that list. So I'm happy that this is going ahead. So okay. No further questions. We'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. 7.13 is the Daintree River Ferry update September 2025. The recommendation is that council receives and notes the Daintree River Ferry financial information and tender progress for September 2025. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Nolly, thank you, and a seconder. Councillor Rees, thank you. Councillor Nolly, would you like to speak?
No, it's okay.
No. Anyone would like to speak against? Any further comments? Are you all happy? Okay, we'll put it to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, we don't have any notice of motions, no urgent business, no petitions, so we'll close the meeting today at 10:40. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Doug.